Imagine waking up each morning, feeling not rushed, overwhelmed, or anxious, but grounded, fully aware that how you start your day shapes every moment that follows. This video dives deep into the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, revealing how the first conscious steps we take at dawn can ignite transformative change within us. Rather than being tossed aimlessly by external chaos or trapped in a flood of urgent distractions, you'll learn to harness the power of intention, discipline, and reflection, tools that allow your mind to stand firm like a rock in stormy seas. We'll explore 5 powerful Stoic habits that aren't just simple morning routines. They are commitments to reclaim your inner peace, sharpen your focus, and cultivate resilience. From starting your day with quiet reflection that centers your purpose, to awakening gratitude that shields your mind from endless dissatisfaction, from strengthening your body to provide a stable foundation for mental clarity, to journaling as a release valve that frees your 1. Practical Stoic habits to start your day. 1. Reflective focus, centering your mind before the day begins. 2. Daily gratitude, building an unshakable sense of abundance. 3. Physical fortitude, strengthening body to empower the mind. 4. Thought journaling, clearing mental clutter and embracing clarity. 5. Embracing impermanence, living fully within each moment. If this is making sense to you so far, if you're finding resonance in these ancient ideas and how they apply to the noise of our modern lives, please take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Your support helps these conversations reach more minds seeking clarity and strength. We've talked about centering your mind with reflective focus, awakening gratitude, and fortifying your body. These are powerful foundations indeed. But the Stoics understood that the inner world, the landscape of our thoughts and emotions, is a dynamic and often turbulent place. To truly navigate it, to truly achieve that inner peace and unwavering resilience we seek, we must actively engage with it. And for that, we turn to a practice that is both profoundly simple and radically transformative: thought journaling. 4. Thought journaling. Clearing mental clutter and embracing clarity. Imagine your mind as a bustling city square. Thoughts, emotions, worries, plans, judgments, they're all constantly moving, shouting, competing for attention. Sometimes it's an inspiring marketplace of ideas, but more often, it feels like a chaotic, overwhelming cacophony. How do you find calm in such a space? How do you distinguish between what truly matters and what is merely distracting noise? For the Stoics, the answer lay in a rigorous, disciplined examination of these impressions. They understood that our emotional responses aren't dictated by external events themselves, but by our judgments about those events. As Epictetus famously put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. But how do you identify those judgments? How do you challenge them? How do you untangle the knots of anxiety and fear that seem to take root deep within your consciousness? This is where thought journaling becomes an indispensable tool. It's not simply keeping a diary, recounting the day's events. It's a dialogue with yourself, a candid conversation with your inner philosopher. It's an opportunity to externalize the swirling chaos of your mind, to lay it out on the page, and to examine it under the cold, clear light of reason. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, didn't write his meditations for publication. He wrote them for himself, a profound act of self-counsel, a daily practice of Stoic reflection. He was, in essence, journaling his way through the immense pressures of leading an empire while striving for inner peace. In our hyper-connected, always-on world, the need for this practice is perhaps greater than ever. We are constantly bombarded with information, opinions, demands, and distractions. Our internal landscape becomes a mirror of this external overload. We carry around mental to-do lists that never seem to shrink, worries that loop endlessly, and unresolved anxieties that drain our energy. Journaling, in the Stoic sense, offers a powerful antidote. It's a dedicated space, a quiet sanctuary, where you can perform a mental detox each morning. So how do you engage in this practice? It doesn't require literary genius or perfect prose. It requires honesty and a willingness to look inward. You might begin by simply writing down whatever comes to mind. A technique sometimes called morning pages. This stream of consciousness approach helps to clear out the superficial chatter, the residual dreams, the immediate anxieties that are clamoring for attention. It's like sweeping the dust from the city square before the serious work begins. But for a truly Stoic approach, your journaling can become more structured, more purposeful. It transforms into a powerful exercise in applied philosophy. Here are some prompts and approaches you can integrate into your morning journaling practice. First, examine your anxieties and fears. What specifically is causing you worry today? Write it down. Be explicit. Then, apply the Stoic dichotomy of control. Is this within my control or outside of it? For those things outside your control, practice acceptance and let go. For those within your control, identify the specific, actionable steps you can take. This simple act of identification and categorization often strips worries of their power, transforming vague dread into concrete problems that can be addressed or calmly accepted. Second, reflect on the virtues you wish to embody. The Stoics believed that virtue is the sole good. What virtues are particularly important for you today? Courage in facing a difficult conversation, justice in a decision you need to make, temperance in resisting a harmful indulgence, wisdom in understanding a complex situation. This isn't just abstract thought. It's a premeditation of virtuous action, priming your mind to act with integrity throughout the day. Third, premeditate on potential challenges and setbacks. This is the Stoic practice of premeditation malorum, anticipating adversity. It's not about inviting negativity, but about inoculation. What difficulties might arise today? A sudden interruption, a frustrating delay, an unexpected criticism? How will you respond virtuously? How will you maintain your inner peace and reason in the face of external chaos? By mentally rehearsing your responses, you diminish their power to surprise and derail you when they inevitably occur. You cultivate a sense of preparedness, making you more resilient. Fourth, challenge your judgments. When you write down a thought, particularly one that evokes a strong emotion, ask yourself, is this judgment accurate? Is it fair? Is it useful? For example, if you write, "My colleague is so incompetent," you might then challenge that by asking, "Am I being fair? What evidence do I have? Is this judgment serving me, or merely creating irritation?" This rigorous self-interrogation helps you to identify and dismantle irrational beliefs and faulty assumptions that often fuel negative emotions. Finally, consider using your journal for a brief review of the previous day. Where did you act in accordance with your values? Where did you falter? What lessons did you learn? Seneca, in his letters, described a nightly practice of self-examination where he would review his actions, seeking to correct his errors and reinforce his virtues. Integrating a quick reflection on yesterday's challenges can provide valuable insights for navigating today's. The benefits of this practice are profound. Thought journaling fosters deep self-awareness, allowing you to understand the patterns of your thinking, the triggers of your emotions, and the biases that shape your perceptions. It strengthens your ability to regulate your emotions, as the act of writing creates a cognitive distance, allowing you to observe your feelings rather than being swept away by them. It clarifies your decision-making by forcing you to articulate your thoughts and weigh your options rationally. It builds resilience, not just by anticipating adversity, but by continuously reinforcing your commitment to act with reason and virtue, regardless of external circumstances. You might be thinking, "I'm not a writer," or "I don't have time for this." But remember, this journal is for you alone. There's no pressure for eloquence or perfect grammar. The value comes from the process of putting thoughts to paper, not the product. Even 5 to 10 minutes each morning can yield immense benefits. Think of it as a mental workbench where you meticulously inspect and repair the tools of your mind, or a garden where you systematically pull the weeds before they can choke out the nourishing plants. It is a mental gym where you exercise the muscles of reason and self-control. By consistently engaging in thought journaling, you transform your mornings from a period of passive reception into an active engagement with your inner world. You move from being a passenger tossed about by your thoughts to becoming the captain, charting your course with intention and clarity. You begin to understand that true freedom lies not in the absence of challenges, but in the mastery of your response to them. And this mastery is forged one thoughtful entry at a time in the quiet solitude of your morning journal. Having meticulously examined our thoughts and cultivated a mind that is more aware and resilient, we now arrive at perhaps the most profound and challenging of all Stoic practices, embracing impermanence. This isn't just a mental exercise. It's a fundamental shift in how we perceive reality, a perspective that redefines our relationship with everything we hold dear. Embracing impermanence, living fully within each moment. Of all the truths the Stoics confronted, none resonated with more gravitas than the reality of impermanence. This isn't just about acknowledging death, though memento mori, the reminder of our mortality, is a powerful aspect of it. It's about recognizing that everything is in a constant state of flux. Nothing lasts. No moment, no possession, no relationship, no physical form, no feeling, no idea. Absolutely nothing remains static. As the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus observed, "You cannot step into the same river twice, for other waters are continually flowing on." This isn't a morbid thought. It is, in fact, the very wellspring of appreciation, urgency, and profound liberation. Why is this understanding so crucial for inner peace and a well-lived life? Because so much of our suffering stems from our resistance to change, our desperate clinging to what is or what was. We lament the past, fearing it will never return, and dread the future, worried about what it might take away. But by truly embracing impermanence, by internalizing this fundamental truth, we unlock several powerful transformations. Firstly, it awakens profound appreciation. When you truly grasp that every sunrise, every conversation, every breath, every moment of health, every connection you share is a fleeting gift, you begin to savor it with an intensity you never knew possible. The ordinary becomes extraordinary. That morning coffee, the sound of rain, the smile of a loved one, these aren't just background noise to your life. They are precious, finite experiences. This perspective doesn't diminish joy. It amplifies it, making you profoundly present to the beauty of what you have now, rather than perpetually longing for what is absent, or worried about what might be lost. Secondly, it fuels urgency and purposeful action. If life is brief, if our time here is a finite resource, what truly matters? The contemplation of impermanence cuts through procrastination, trivial pursuits, and endless distractions. It forces us to ask, am I spending my precious, limited time on what aligns with my deepest values? Am I living virtuously? Am I making the most of this unique, unrepeatable day? This isn't a panicked rush. It's a calm, reasoned resolve to live with intention, to focus on what is within our control, our choices, our character, our contributions. Seneca famously wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." This profound statement encapsulates the continuous cycle of life and change, urging us to embrace transition as a constant and to make the most of each present beginning. Thirdly, it builds resilience to loss. By regularly contemplating that all things are loaned, not given permanently, we prepare our minds for the inevitable departures. This is the more direct application of premeditatio malorum, mentally rehearsing the loss of loved ones, possessions, health, or status. Again, this isn't about being pessimistic or inviting tragedy. It's about cultivating a realistic mindset that acknowledges the fragility of existence. When an actual loss occurs, this preparation doesn't eliminate grief, but it can temper the shock, allowing us to process emotions without being utterly shattered by the event. Understanding that it is simply the nature of things, we learn to love deeply without demanding permanence. Fourthly, it frees us from the shackles of attachment. Our suffering often arises not from change itself, but from our stubborn resistance to it. We attach ourselves to outcomes, to people, to possessions, to comfort, and when these change or disappear, we feel pain. Embracing impermanence means loosening that grip, understanding that holding on too tightly to anything that is, by its nature, temporary, is a recipe for anguish. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or uncaring. It means loving, engaging, and experiencing fully, while simultaneously acknowledging the transient nature of it all. It's a radical form of freedom, the freedom from the tyranny of external circumstances and the illusion of control. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, it anchors us in the present moment. If everything is fleeting, if the past is gone and the future is uncertain, then the only reality you truly possess, the only ground you can stand on, is this very second. This profound realization fosters mindfulness, pulling us away from the endless cycle of regret and anxiety. It encourages us to be fully engaged with whatever we are doing, whoever we are with, right now. In our modern world, embracing impermanence offers a powerful counter-narrative to many societal pressures. We are constantly encouraged to acquire, to hoard, to strive for forever in relationships, careers, and possessions. We fear aging, fear change, and are often paralyzed by the idea of making decisions that might lead to something less than perfect. Social media amplifies this, creating a pervasive fear of missing out, a constant comparison that distracts us from the unique, fleeting beauty of our own lives. The Stoic embrace of impermanence reminds us that true richness lies not in accumulation or eternal stability, but in the quality of our presence and our actions within the flow of change. So, how do you practice embracing impermanence in your daily life, especially in your morning routine? You can start by morning reflection. As you begin your day, Quietly consider, this day could be my last. Or, what if this person I'm about to see, I don't see again? Or, what if this opportunity, this moment of health, this strength I feel, is fleeting? This isn't about conjuring fear, but about sharpening your focus. What would you prioritize if you knew this? What words would you choose? What actions would you take or postpone? It clarifies your purpose and strips away the trivial. Observe nature. Take a moment to truly notice the changing seasons, the life cycle of a plant, the way clouds form and dissipate. Nature is a constant teacher of impermanence. Every bloom fades, every leaf falls, every mountain slowly erodes. There is beauty and wisdom in this cycle, if only we attune ourselves to it. Contemplate your possessions. Look around your home. Every object you own will eventually break, wear out, be lost or discarded. Even the most cherished items are temporary. This contemplation isn't about detachment in a cold sense, but about appreciating their utility and beauty while you have them, without forming a desperate attachment to their indefinite presence. Reflect on relationships. Our connections with others are precious, but also impermanent. People move, grow apart, or pass away. Take a moment to appreciate the people in your life now. Express your gratitude, listen deeply, engage authentically. Love them fully, knowing that these moments together are finite, and therefore uniquely valuable. Acknowledge your own body and mind. Your physical form is aging and changing every day. Your health is not guaranteed. Your thoughts and emotions are also fleeting, arising and passing like clouds in the sky. Practice observing them without clinging to them, understanding their transient nature. It's important to clarify that embracing impermanence is not about pessimism or fatalism. It's about clear-eyed realism. It's not about denying pleasure or avoiding attachments. It's about experiencing them fully, joyfully, without the added weight of expectation for them to last forever. It's an affirmation of life, a powerful call to seize the present, to act virtuously, and to find profound contentment within the beautiful, ever-changing flow of existence. This understanding is what allows the Stoic to stand firm, like a rock in the stormy seas, not because the storms don't rage, but because they understand the nature of the sea itself. So, we've journeyed through 5 profound Stoic habits, from reflective focus and daily gratitude, to physical fortitude, the clarifying power of journaling, and finally, the liberating embrace of impermanence. These aren't just isolated routines. They are interconnected threads that weave together a tapestry of intentional living, each one reinforcing the other, building a fortress of inner strength against the unpredictable tides of life. Your morning is not just the beginning of a new day. It is the forge where your character is hammered into shape. It is the crucible where you confront the silent battles within, where you choose between being a reactive pawn of circumstance or a deliberate architect of your inner world. By consciously shaping these first hours, you are not merely building habits. You are building a life rich in meaning, purpose, and an unshakable inner peace. Remember what the great Roman philosopher Seneca taught. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, and a sufficiently generous amount has been given to us for the highest achievements, if it were all well invested. The question then is not whether you have enough time, but how you choose to invest the time you are given. starting with the precious moments that greet you each dawn. How will you begin tomorrow? What will you build in those silent, formative hours? How will you choose to invest the generous gift of another day? The choice, as always, is yours. If this journey has resonated with you, if it has sparked a new way of thinking about your mornings and your life, please consider subscribing to the channel for more insights into Stoicism and intentional living. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which of these habits speaks most to you? Or what morning rituals have you found most impactful? Share your reflections in the comments below. Let's continue this conversation and build a community dedicated to a life of wisdom and virtue. Thank you for watching.